Gangs are still a hot topic in Wilmington. The crime continues, and tonight, so does the effort to stop it.
We think it's nothing more and nothing less than protecting religious freedom in our state, and we take that very seriously.
And debate heats up over a controversial bill involving gay customers. Some call the bill religious freedom, others say it's discrimination.
A co-ed cashes in by stripping down. Hear from a North Carolina college student who stars in porn to pay for her tuition. Plus, a fire in New Hanover County destroys this 3-story home. Why one couple is lucky to be alive. Tonight, as Fox Wilmington News at 10 starts right now.
1 hour earlier, this is Fox Wilmington News at 10. Streaming live on foxwilmington.com.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. I'm John Evans.
And I'm Ashley Kozakowski. Police in Wilmington continue to combat gang crime in our community. Officers arrested more than a dozen gang members for human trafficking and heroin in just the past week.
And tonight, the community conversation on gang violence continued. News at 10 reporter Craig Reck is back from the final forum in the series. He's in the studio with more of what was said. Craig?
John and Ashley, tonight's focus is on children. What can the city, the community leaders, and families do to make Wilmington a positive place to grow up so no one thinks they need to join a gang? We heard from a former gang member tonight. She says she's on the right track now that she's found the right support, because at the time, her support was from a gang. So there are two schools of thought on this. One has families banding together to take control of their neighborhoods and provide the positive outlets for children to thrive. Well, the other looks to larger organizations, even the city, to provide that positive boost. Either way, everyone agrees there needs to be more of it, and it needs to be accessible.
What we heard here tonight was, help us. We need some help. We need some programs that can help the youth in our community, keep them off the street, get them on the straight and narrow, and keep them engaged. And we heard that loud and clear.
More programs closer to like some of the places where the gang activity and the violence is going on.
Tonight marks the final forum for these community conversations. From here, Wilmington City Manager will put together some recommendations for what can be improved. Then it'll be up to city leaders to approve any changes. Reporting live in the studio, Craig Reck, Fox Wilmington News at 10.
Okay, thanks, Craig. 16 years ago tonight, a man was gunned down outside his home in Castle Hayne. That murder remains unsolved. And investigators say they need your help to find the person who killed Michael Whaley.
Mr. Whaley was a good family guy. He was also, your typical country boy, loved to hunt, fish.
Still, investigators believe someone killed Whaley, and they were someone who knew who he was, and they were targeting him, but they aren't sure exactly why. The attack happened outside Whaley's home on Lynn Avenue on February 25th, 1996. After dinner, Whaley went outside to put the grill into a detached garage, and that's when someone shot him 3 times with a shotgun. His killer was never caught.
I wish that someone would come forth, or who may have saw something, or who may have heard something, or may have heard the suspect say, yeah, I did this, please don't tell nobody.
Well, if you have any information that can help investigators find Whaley's killer, call Crime Stoppers. That number's on your screen right now. It's 1-800-531-9845.
New details tonight on a deadly shooting that involved an armed man and a homeowner in Onslow County. The district attorney met with investigators today to go over the case. Ernie Lee says he will decide on any new charges once he receives final reports. The homeowner, John Moore, shot Michael Holliday when Holliday and another man broke into Moore's home Sunday night. Holliday later died. Moore is not facing any charges. 3 other people with Holliday at the time do face several offenses.
A woman in Brunswick County is charged with 2 DWIs in less than 3 hours. Veronica Juanita White was arrested and charged twice Saturday morning. Investigators say she was speeding down Highway 211 in Southport when a Southport police officer pulled her over. She was arrested, taken to jail, and released to an individual just after 4 a.m. Well, only a half hour later, a Boiling Spring Lakes police officer pulled White over and charged her on Highway 87. Officers seized her car upon that second arrest. The attorney that serves Bender County and its Board of Commissioners is in some legal trouble of his own tonight. Carl Woodrow Thurman III is charged with DWI. He was pulled over in Brunswick County around 2:30 Sunday morning. Authorities say he blew a .08. The Bender County manager tells us he and commissioners are aware of the charges, but they don't have a comment right now.
Quick thinking of neighbors is what a husband and wife have to thank tonight. The husband and wife woke up to the sound of smoke alarms and thick smoke inside their home on River Road in New Hanover County. That thick smoke blocked their only way out. After yelling for help, neighbors heard the couple and propped ladders to the balcony of the home to get the couple down safely. Firefighters actually have a close working relationship with the man who is the assistant fire chief in Carolina Beach. The latest scam to hit our area, investigators in Bladen County have already heard of several cases that have turned up in residents' mailboxes. Fox Wilmington's Casey Cunningham has the details on a scam that just sounds too good to be true.
Have you seen one of these before?
Yes, I got one in the mail.
And did you know this is a scam?
I didn't know it, but I figured it was too good to be true.
The Bladen County Sheriff's Office is warning people if you get one of these cards in the mail, be aware that it could be a scam. Take a good look at this card. It shows up in your mailbox and tells you to call a number to get your free $100 Walmart or Target gift card.
I think it's a scam.
And it is. Several people in Bladen County have received this card in the mail and called the number.
Once you call that number, the person on the other end will advise that you have to pay $1 for the shipping of the gift card.
Then they'll ask for your credit card information and you could find your bank account drained.
People will do anything for money.
The Bladen County Sheriff's Office has been in contact with both Walmart and Target, who say they aren't the ones mailing out these cards. So police believe it's people looking for some fast cash.
People in our society today try to get that quick money, and it's all it is a scam.
That's why you need to be on Scam Alert.
And they usually say if it usually sounds too good to be true, beware.
If you do get one of these cards in the mail, do call police immediately. Reporting in Bladen County, Casey Cunningham, Fox Wilmington News.
Wonderful day across southeastern North Carolina. Really, the last couple of days have been very nice, but I think today may have been the best of them all with lots of sunshine. And check out these temperatures, 74 degrees this afternoon in Wilmington. We saw similar temperatures across the rest of the area, 71 Elizabethtown, 72 degrees in Whiteville, and not too shabby just to the north, 69 Jacksonville and 66 for a high in Clinton. But big changes on the way. We already have a cold front sliding through the area this evening. First alert digital Doppler quiet for now, but it may not be quiet as we head towards the morning commute. The bus stop forecast, 41 degrees. We're going to give it a D because it will be there will be showers around and it will be chilly, and it doesn't get much better as we head through the day. Still a C- as you head home from school. Most of the shower activity should be over, but temperatures never get out of the 40s. We'll have the complete first alert forecast coming up in just a few moments.
All right, thanks, Eric. It was a bad bite. A man in Rockingham County recovering from a rattlesnake attack.
But his friend could be in trouble because of what happened. Also ahead tonight, a Duke University student reveals she's working her way through college by starring in adult films.
We'll hear from her in 2 minutes.
You're watching Fox Wilmington News at 10, 1 hour earlier.
A Duke University student says she stars in porn to help pay her tuition. She also says she has nothing to be ashamed of. The student, who is going by the alias Lauren, says she saw porn as a chance to graduate from her dream school debt-free.
I felt more degraded in a minimum wage, blue-collar, low-paying service job than I do doing porn.
Now, Duke has not commented on the specific situation here, but did say that the university offers many resources to financially help its students. More than half of Duke's students receive some form of financial assistance for the very costly $6,100 a year tuition. Fort Bragg U.S. Army general is facing sexual assault charges, and he's seeking to have the case dismissed. General Jeffrey Sinclair's lawyers argued that the testimony from the primary witness against him is unreliable. Military Judge Cornell James Pohl has denied at least 2 past motions to dismiss from the defense. St. Clair has pleaded not guilty to 8 criminal counts, including forcible sodomy, indecent acts, and conduct. St. Clair's court-martial is set to begin March 4th.
There's an investigation in Rockingham County tonight involving a rattlesnake bite. According to the sheriff's office there, an 18-year-old, Cameron Burgess, was visiting a friend when the man's rattler bit Burgess in the arm. Burgess had to go to the hospital for treatment. Turns out, investigators say the friend has several poisonous snakes, and it's illegal under state law to keep one type, the canebrake rattlesnake, as a pet if you don't have the proper permit. Tragedy for a family in High Point tonight. The family's dog mauled their 3-year-old daughter to death. Police say the toddler's death appears to be an accident resulting from an attack by a pit bull terrier. The dog is quarantined at the Guilford County Animal Shelter for the next 10 days. 2 women in Fayetteville nearly died after using laced heroin. One of the women's boyfriends found them unconscious, called 911. Investigators believe that may have saved their lives. Health officials have issued a warning about the dangers of a heroin that is laced with fentanyl. That's a synthetic drug compound. Officials suspect 3 recent deaths in North Carolina can be connected to that deadly mixture.
Police are investigating what they believe is a mobile methamphetamine lab in Conway, South Carolina. They arrested 2 suspects after a tip led them to a car in a parking lot of the Lowe's. Officers say they saw 2 people go inside the hardware store and buy ingredients to make meth. A canine gave a positive alert on the vehicle, and that's where they found the shake and bake style meth lab. Rolling in the revenue.
Wait till you hear how much pot has been sold just in one Colorado community. Eric?
And wait till you hear what a big change in the forecast we're going to see, from 70s and sunshine today to showers and 40s tomorrow. We'll have the complete First Alert forecast coming up.
All right. Thanks, Eric.
Okay, Eric, thanks. You know, they've had a harsh winter in the Northeast. Up to 3 inches of snow fell again today in the nation's capital. That's good news since there is some snow on the ground already. Forecasters say they shouldn't get much more, and actually temperatures are expected to warm up there by the end of the week as well. And in Pennsylvania, officials are warning residents about the potential of flooding caused by ice jams. These are the mounds of ice that have been forming on the, in this instance, Allegheny River. There hasn't been any major flooding yet, but when the ice jams finally release, that's when the water can come rushing downstream. Flood warnings are posted for several counties in the state of Pennsylvania tonight.
Doctors across the country are working together to identify a polio-like illness in California that has left at least 5 children in critical condition. 2.5 years ago, a 4-year-old there was the first to be diagnosed. She had difficulty breathing and flu-like symptoms. Now her left arm is paralyzed. Doctors say that possibly up to 25 cases have been reported. Polio was cured nearly 30 years ago in this country. The children do not have that illness, but the symptoms are similar. A new study suggests women with certain genetic mutations could reduce the risk by having their ovaries removed by age 35. The study from researchers at the University of Toronto shows that the risk is reduced by 80%. This report published online in the Journal of Clinical Oncology. Well, pot seems to be a booming business in Colorado. Nearly $1 million worth of marijuana was sold in one county between 2 recreational pot shops in January alone. The sales generated about $56,000 in local sales taxes. Officials in Pueblo County now project the marijuana industry will generate roughly $670,000 in tax revenue this year. That county is the first to make public their sales tax totals. Statewide totals are expected early next month. Well, is it discrimination or religious freedom?
What one governor is expected to do about a bill that deals with businesses possibly denying service to some customers. Plus, another man says he wants to be New Hanover County's sheriff.
Yeah, this race just keeps getting more and more interesting. We're back with our political notebook in 2 minutes.
In the political notebook tonight, a surprise entry into the Republican race for U.S. Senate. Jim Snyder filed to run this morning, the 5th member of the party to sign up so far. Now, he's a veteran of political campaigns. This video is back from 2002 when Snyder finished second to Elizabeth Dole for the GOP Senate nomination. Then in 2008, he won the nomination for lieutenant governor before losing to Bev Perdue. 2 more candidates could sign up for the campaign, including House Speaker Tom Tillis. Speaking of a crowded field, a 4th candidate plans to enter the race for sheriff of New Hanover County. Jason Vaughn will sign up for the campaign Thursday. He'll join another former deputy, Mark Benson, running in the Republican primary, while former Sheriff Sid Causey has filed to face incumbent Ed McMahon in the Democratic primary campaign. 4 candidates have also signed up to run for sheriff in Columbus County, where Lewis Hatcher is the incumbent. Friday is the end of the filing period all across North Carolina. The governor of Arizona is in the middle of a political controversy tonight. Jan Brewer is considering putting her veto pen to a bill that allows business owners to deny gay and lesbian customers based on religious beliefs. Karen Kafa looks at both sides of the argument. A couple in Detroit is suing the state of Michigan to overturn its ban on same-sex marriage. Jane Rouse and her partner, April DeBoer, want to make their union legal after 8 years together. Michigan currently bans same-sex marriage as well as second-parent adoption, which would allow the couple to adopt each other's children. Rouse and DeBoer are suing for the right to do that as well. Here's some of what you'll see in the next half hour on Fox Wilmington News at 10, a star sighting.
Why Juliette Lewis visited the Wilmington Police Department. Plus, it wasn't a performance that set the stage on fire at a North Carolina high school.
Why a teacher is in trouble. That story coming up. And right after the break, a look at the top stories of the day. One woman getting 2 DWIs in less than 3 hours.
All right, it's halfway through the hour. Time now to take a look at tonight's top stories.
First tonight, we go to Brunswick County, where a woman got 2 separate DWI charges within 3 hours. Reports say a Southport officer arrested Veronica White around 2 a.m. Saturday morning on Highway 211. According to records, White was released to an individual at 4:13 a.m. and less than an hour later, an officer from Boiling Spring Lakes arrested her on Highway 87, once again for DWI.
A couple is looking for a new home after fire destroyed theirs on River Road early this morning. The husband and wife woke up to find thick smoke blocking their only way out. Neighbors heard their screams and propped ladders up to a balcony to get the couple safely out. The husband is an assistant fire chief in Carolina Beach. No word yet on what caused that fire.
A large crowd in Wilmington tonight trying to help put an end to gang violence in the city. This video from the final gang forum that happened at the MLK Center, and it focused on kids, what the city and local business leaders and community groups can do to provide a positive place for children to grow up. From here, city staff will put together recommendations for leaders to consider and potentially make improvements. A new report by the Wilmington Police Department shows an increase in the number of officers that are hurt on the job. Nearly 100 cases reported last year, and about 1 in every 5 were for officers exposed to blood. Higher ups say the potential for officers to get stuck by needles increased, with more people using heroin in the city at the same time.
That report also shows more preventable car crashes are happening in the department. Many are blamed on distracted driving. Just 3 cases were reported in 2012, and last year the number jumped to 29. We're told the new research division is keeping a better count of the numbers, but Fox Wilmington's Justin Smith found out the report says officers need to pay more attention when they're behind the wheel.
Last year, Wilmington police spent more than 500,000 hours behind the wheel, so wrecks involving officers are bound to happen. Officials say police couldn't have prevented more than 30 wrecks like this one, but they believe many more could have been avoided.
Looking at the data is one thing, but looking at what's happening behind the data, which is what we're trying to do, gives us a better picture of what's really occurring there.
And what's really occurring in many cases, distracted driving. The department saw a spike in accidents where officers simply backed into stationary objects like light poles, walls, and electric boxes. The report recommends the department re-emphasize the importance of paying attention. In-car computers provide officers with important information, but sometimes take their eyes off the road.
As technology is advanced, our cars are like cockpits. While we enhance their ability to do their job, we also, the counter side of that is we actually jeopardize them doing their job at the same time.
The safety report recommends increased driver training for officers and installing rear view cameras or backing sensors on patrol cars. And those cruisers could be getting a new look. We're told the department is considering a new black and white color scheme to make the cars more visible. In the newsroom, Justin Smith, Fox Wilmington News.
A state panel is looking for ways to reward North Carolina's teachers and to help them be more effective in the classroom. That panel includes heads of teacher and education groups along with parents of students in the schools right now. The state's public school teachers have gotten one raise since 2008. Governor Pat McCrory and other legislative leaders have pledged they will raise salaries of the least experienced teachers in an effort to recruit and better retain them. New details tonight on a teacher that's charged with setting a fire to a school in Alamance County. Police say Michael Shannon is facing a couple of felony counts related to two fires in the theater area of Graham High. Shannon teaches theater at the school system. Police say the first fire was accidental. They believe Shannon set the second one as crews were on the way. The fires did not do much damage at all to that school.
What do we want? We want it. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? We want it. When do we want it? Now.
Protesters outside of Duke Energy headquarters demanding the company take full responsibility for the coal ash spill into the Dan River. They had petitions signed by more than 9,000 people. State regulators said today they plan to modify the company's discharge permit, which could require Duke Energy to move its coal ash to a lined landfill. An 8-month-old boy from Cary who battled H1N1 may have even more trouble fighting the virus. He is now tested positive for severe combined immunodeficiency, also known as the bubble boy disease. The parents say he was healthy until 2 weeks ago when he contracted H1N1. Once the virus has gone, he will need a bone marrow transplant to treat the SCID. His medical bills could reach up to $1 million. Well, now it's time for Fox on Film. Check out this celebrity sighting in Wilmington. You're looking at Juliette Lewis in the middle there. She posted this picture on Instagram. It shows her with members of the Wilmington Police Department. The caption for the pic stated, "Playing a detective, so I'm hanging with detectives." In the picture, she's with homicide detective Lee Odom and Captain Jeff Alsbrook. Lewis is starring in Secrets and Lies, which is being filmed here in Wilmington.
To me, I thought I was running over to see a dead man in a truck.
They're being called heroes.
How a construction crew helped save lives after a crash in Brunswick County. You'll hear their story in 2 minutes.
Police are wondering about a man's mental state after he tries to rob a bank with a meat cleaver. And in Philly, an early morning fire turns a massive apartment into just ashes.
An incredible horse rescue from a frozen backyard swimming pool and a leopard on the loose. That's what's caught on camera for your Tuesday night. We're going to start in PA, where an early morning fire destroyed an apartment complex for senior citizens. Broke out about 3:30 this morning, and as you see, there's not much left after the building went up in flames. No one was inside at the time. None of the residents nearby were hurt. No word on how it sparked. Take a look. A leopard wandered into a hospital, a store, a movie theater, and an apartment complex in northern India. They had to close at least one school nearby, and a neighborhood went into a panic because the cat has actually injured several people. Wildlife experts managed to tranquilize the cat, but it kept getting away from them even though it got hit with the little bit of a sedative.
Well, you might call this a creative try at a attempted robbery. Some might say it's pretty dumb. Let's look at the surveillance footage. This is from a bank in China. A man tried to rob it with a meat cleaver. You can actually see the teller behind the window laughing at him, and then another bank customer sneaks up behind the look at her laughing and pointing. One customer sneaks up behind that would-be robber, snatches the knife, and takes him down. They're trying to figure out exactly what he was up to here. Now in Rhode Island, fire crews rescued a horse trapped in a backyard pool. The horse, Dixie, put herself in serious danger. She crossed the road and fell into a neighbor's pool. Fire department officials responded 30 minutes later to pull the horse out of the water. Now, according to vets, Dixie is doing well and will be monitored as she progresses, and she's expected to make a full recovery. Well, you never know when you might be challenged to rise to the occasion and become a hero. It could happen any day, at any time.
That's right. And this week, members of a road crew along Highway 17 in Brunswick County actually got that call. They weren't expecting it either. Fox Wilmington's Ben Powell reports on those who stepped up.
This construction crew on Highway 17 is back on the job, although it's understandable that they might be a little distracted today.
In 10 seconds, you might not make it home if you don't give somebody a break.
It was just a normal day. Rick Crane and Thomas G were taking a break from work when all of a sudden,
we just hear a big crash and we look over and see the truck flipping. So we looked at each other real quick and took off running.
The pictures are hard to look at. A large truck flipped on its edge with the driver stuck inside.
To me, I thought I was running over to see a dead man in the truck.
G, Crane, and 4 other construction workers ran across 4 lanes of traffic, bypassing the twisted metal and debris, and quickly pulled the driver out. Their quick thinking helped save the man's life.
In a lot of accident situations, you don't want to move the injured person inside, but being there could have been a fire, I guess that's why we went at it.
So now it's back to work as usual for this crew of unlikely heroes, but now instead of just carrying a shovel, they're carrying a new lease on life.
It's kind of an eye-opener just to take a little bit more careful out there and on the highways and give somebody a break. Just drive a little more careful.
Reporting in Brunswick County, Ben Powell, Fox Wilmington News.
The driver involved in that car accident was taken to the hospital with minor injuries. He's expected to be okay. Kicking off our look at sports tonight with UNCW baseball. The Seahawks hitting the road to take on Elon. The Phoenix would lead 3-2 in the bottom of the 8th as Sebastian Gomez would go ahead and get a run from second. It was freshman Robbie Thorburn who would knock in 2 runs for the Seahawks, part of his 3-hit night. UNCW just 1 of 11 in RBI opportunities and 1 of 18 with runners on base. The Seahawks snapped their 3-game win streak with the loss and moved to an even 4-4 on the season.
All right, let's go to hoops. Duke hosting Virginia Tech in the ACC. The Blue Devils went out early 7-2, and they went to work on defense as well. Jabari Parker gets the block here, and then he runs the floor, takes it all the way, kicks it out to Rashid Suleiman, buries the 3. Dookie's up 15-2. Parker later got a steal and took it all by himself, this time 26-12 here. Duke stayed in command in the second half. Tech never had the lead. Duke wins 66-48.
Okay, over to another ACC matchup now as the Clemson Tigers take on Wake Forest in Winston-Salem. Clemson comes out with energy as KG McDaniels would drive the baseline and dunk one home. 6-4 Tigers. Wake Forest keep close after this Miles Overton three-point jumper, 21-19 Clemson. The Demon Deacons coming alive here in the second half. Boom! Grabbing the lead after Travis Mackay makes that layup. Wake Forest, Cody Miller, McIntyre helps the Demon Deacons hold on down the stretch and keep the lead. Wake wins this one 62-57. All right, we want to show you some amazing ice caves on Lake Superior that's off of northern Wisconsin. The caves are formed by waves on the lake and sandstone. The ice is more than a foot thick, so you can walk across the lake to reach those caves.
Tens of thousands of people have visited the formation since mid-January, the first time they've been accessible for 5 years.
Wow.
Some U.S. athletes are arriving home from Sochi and bringing back some friends with them. Lucky for these pups, becoming an American citizen isn't quite as hard.
Yeah, for dogs at least. David Bax and his wife couldn't bear to leave the pups that kept showing up in the Olympic Village, so they got the paperwork and brought them home. The dogs will soon be up for adoption. A great story there.
Yeah.
Giving some puppies some homes.
Yep. Quickly tomorrow is going to be colder.
Showers around 2, highs in the 40s.
All right, colder day tomorrow. We'll see you back here tomorrow night at 10.